One area that helps cars perform better is to strengthen the lower rear control arms. In our case, we had an extra set of control arms from a 65 Chevelle, which are the standard GM A-body control arms, and those happen to fit our 68 Buick Riviera. So in order to make these a little bit stronger, I mean, you can go out and spend some money and buy some new aftermarket pieces, or you can take a few minutes and box your original ones, which doesn't cost very much money, and it'll make them stronger so they don't twist and flex as much. And the process is pretty simple. The first thing we did was took the original arms and sandblasted them clean, and then we plasma cut and used the cutoff wheel to make some inserts that would go inside the ribs of the arm to keep them from twisting. To make those, we trimmed them out and then used a sheet metal brake to bend them into basically a right angle so they became little triangle shaped pieces. And then we dropped them inside the arms and then used a MIG welder to tack weld them in place. We welded them using short welds. It's a little bit more than a tack, but not quite a long bead, because we didn't want to put too much heat into it to possibly warp the arms. Once those were in place, we made a long, flat piece of steel using some 14 gauge that was going to act as the fourth side of the control arm. This is going to close the whole thing off. That got clamped in place and then tack welded, and then again using a series of maybe 1.5 to 2 inch long weld beads. They were MIG'd in all the way around so that, again, the heat was managed to keep them from twisting. Once the main flat area was welded in, we trimmed the sides to match and then rolled the edges using a hammer. We put the arms in a vise and then used a technique of pounding on them with a plastic mallet until they started to curl and fit the shape of the arm, and then we'd weld that spot and then hammer it a little bit more and then weld it and then hammer it a little bit more until it was completely conformed, and then the edges got trimmed and then it was welded all the way around. And next thing you know, you've got a control arm that's very rigid, all boxed up. We shot a little paint on one and left the other one bare so you can see where all the welding was. Once they're finished, these can go right in the car as they are. But most of these cars used a rear sway bar that mounts to the arms. So you want to make sure that if you're going to install a sway bar, you have to drill some holes, and you want to make sure that those inside braces don't interfere with where those holes are. But other than that, it's a simple afternoon project and you're on your way. Now, they're not as nice as a chrome moly, TIG welded, fixtured, polyurethane greasable arm, but they're not as expensive, and it's a start to make the car nicer. Good, nice afternoon project.